I was in waves, so I would always wear, braid part of what was remaining and have a weave, or alternatively just have a wig. Then I got comfortable and shaved all of it and was in wigs for some time. It took, say, about 2 years for me to come to the realization that I've totally lost my hair and it's time to accept. I was hospitalized and was going through steroids injections and, topical and injections. At that time, it's when the doctors were clear that it wasn't reversible, that I'd totally lost my hair, and chances were that it wasn't coming back. We have actually a support group that 90% of us have either lost hair completely or they're just starting to lose hair. What we do in the group is encourage each other, because number one, there's a lot of stigma in this when you have this condition. People have all sorts of comments, people have all sorts of ideas of what you're going through, including cancer, including you've been bewitched and stuff like that. I can say that there's a lot of people that have similar issues, but they're scared to come out. So in this group, we actually try and encourage people to seek a doctor's opinion when you are losing hair, when you experience abnormal shedding, so that you're not suspecting things that are not really there. Well, this happens to both women and men, and it doesn't matter at what age. It can happen even to little children.
So that is alopecia, which is known commonly as a hair loss, and it's one of the things that we'll be talking about even as we engage that subject, hair health. And to help us along with this conversation, as I mentioned, that is Christine Kingori, who is a trichologist, and perhaps some of you are hearing the word trichologist today for the first time. But Christine, thank you for having us here, and we're coming to you live from the Bloom Trichology. My God, the Kikuyu in me, the Bloom Trichology, and she'll tell us more about what it is that she does, and actually just let us know, who is a trichologist?
Yeah, my name is Christine Gunyama Kingori, and I am a trichologist. So trichology really means, so it's tricho means hair, and ology means the study of hair. So we specialize in the study of the scalp and hair and treatment of conditions that affect scalp and hair.
Okay.
So we diagnose and treat the conditions that affect hair and scalp, the causes of hair loss, hair falling, hair breakage, and the diseases that affect the scalp.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So how would you define, from your experience, healthy hair?
So healthy hair will be hair that has moisture. The moisture levels are okay. The protein is okay. It is a hair that you clean like every day, and it's strong. Yeah.
Okay. Now, when you say healthy hair, I guess it can be relative depending on who you're dealing with.
Yes.
So I could be looking at my hair and thinking, okay, fine, it's strong, it's not cutting, so it's healthy and all that. But to you, you will look at the hair and say, no, something is off.
Yes.
So what are these obvious symptoms, perhaps, of unhealthy hair?
So the hair will be, brittle and dry, and the hair that is not healthy will be very brittle, will be very dry. Will be breaking. So if a client is coming in, that client will be coming in saying that the hair is falling all the time. It is very dry. But hair that is healthy is hair that will not... Okay, of course, we lose about 100 strands of hair every day. So if someone is losing more than 100 strands, then that means that that hair has a problem that we really need to look at.
When you say we lose 100 strands a day, how do you even quantify that?
Yeah, so you don't have to really count, but so you can just look at the strands that are coming out.
Yeah.
Because every time when you're shampooing, you lose a bit of strands. When you comb your hair, there are some hairs that are sticking on your comb. But those should not like choke your comb, you know. But they should just be enough to when you look at it, it's like, okay, these are like 20 or 50 strands or up to 100.
Okay.
So if you see that your comb is choked, then that's the time to look for a trichologist. We look into why that your hair is falling.
Okay, so perhaps for the layman, if I was combing my hair and there's a few strands on it, that's normal.
That's normal.
But if I keep combing it and it looks like the way there's a lot of hair that
Yeah.
sheds when you undo your hair after braiding it, then there's a problem.
And then sometimes, you're in the office and your hair keeps falling. You're at the sink and your hair is falling. You just touch your hair like this and you have a number of strands on your fingers. That could be something that should cause you to look for some help.
Okay. Yeah. So when you think about taking care of good hair, and people who have healthy hair and others who are struggling, what are the factors that perhaps feed into this?
Just repeat that.
What are some of the factors that feed into good hair? There's some, of course, genetics are at play. What else feeds into good hair?
So maybe I'll talk about conditions that really affect hair. And
let's not even get to the effects. Yeah. What feeds good, healthy hair?
Feeding.
Yeah.
So it's like you shampoo hair. Ideally, we should really shampoo hair every day.
Oh.
Yeah, using the right products. You can shampoo every day. But because sometimes, especially our African hair is unmanageable, we say we can shampoo every day, every week, twice in a week. So you shampoo. Use a shampoo, use a conditioner every time that you use a shampoo, and then you're always also deep conditioning your hair, because your hair is made up of moisture and protein. So you have to strike that balance of using a moisture, which is normally water, the shampoo, the conditioner, but the protein is something that really strengthens the hair, so that there's enough moisture in the hair, but you still have your strands are strong.
Okay.
Enough, yes.
All right. Yeah, so we have somebody who's going to be helping us walk this journey as we understand hair through her own mane. And this is Joyce, who is with us today. Thank you for agreeing to be part of this broadcast this morning. And for you, when a patient or a client comes to you and they need help, where do you start?
So I will start, of course, by welcoming them. And then I will listen to the history of their hair. Because some of them have had this good hair, and then something happens and they start losing hair, or they start itching on the scalp and all that. So I will listen to the history. So I will ask the client to give me, to tell me what is happening, what actually brought them.
Aha, interesting. Yeah, so, let's hear from Joyce. So what is the problem?
My scalp is itchy, and as she says, while I was combing my hair, it's choking the comb. So I just need to understand why the itchiness, especially like when I do braids, I keep, hitting.
Oh, you're one of the people who patting their heads, yes?
I need to understand, and it's a bit uncomfortable.
Okay.
Yes.
Has it always been the case, or there has been a ton of events?
I used to have good hair, and then somehow I just started having that. And when I learned of bloom trichology through a friend, I decided, let me pay her a visit.
Okay. When you say you had good hair, was it longer than this, fuller than this?
Fuller.
Yeah.
And longer.
Okay, so itchiness is the main issue?
Yes.
And that happens when you braid it, or just all the time, even when you have it out?
Mostly when I braid it, yeah.
And any specific area? Is it just itchy around the scalp, or any specific area of the scalp that you itch?
In the middle.
Okay.
Yeah. Mostly in the middle, yeah. Yeah.
All right. And have you, because you said you had long hair and now it's breaking and cutting, have you changed salons in the recent past?
Yeah, I did.
And the products that you use?
I've always been using just the normal products like Venus, TCB.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
And how often do you wash your scalp and hair?
Every 3 weeks, or sometimes when I have braids, I can go even to a month.
All right.
Yeah.
So when you shampoo, you use a shampoo and then you use a conditioner, or what do you use? How do you shampoo and take care of your hair?
Just shampoo.
Or do you just do it in the salon?
Yeah.
So sometimes you actually don't know what they're using.
And then I put maybe sometimes leave-in treatment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
All right. So I think it's important that when you go to the salon first, it's important to know what they're using on your hair. Or better still, you can carry your products to the salon, and then always make sure that when they shampoo is for your scalp. So the salonist should go really into your scalp and make sure that they get rid of the dead cells, sweat, the oil that you have been using, and everything. There's the oil that the body produces naturally. It's called sebum. So you really need to go in and get rid of all that. And a shampoo. So after that, then they use a conditioner, and the conditioner is always for your strands. And the most important part is always the mid to ends, where these ends are what you have had the most. So they really need a lot of moisture in the protein, the conditioner. Okay. All right? Okay. And then every twice a month, I think it's good to always deep condition your hair. Your hair is made up of protein and moisture, as I had said earlier. So the first 2 weeks of the month, you can do a deep moisturizing conditioner. And then the other 2 weeks, you do your protein. Okay.
So at this point, that sounds it makes sense considering that you explained the constitution of the hair. Yeah. But then again, people have different types of hair, dependent also on their types of skin. Yeah. So you'll have those who have dry skin, so their hair is also dry. Mm-hmm. Then you have people who have oily skin, so their hair is naturally oily. Yeah, yeah. So would you recommend the same steps when it comes to managing their hair?
Not really. Mm-hmm. Not really. Someone who has very dry scalp really needs a shampoo that is moisturizing to the scalp. And then always to use a bit of oil, especially after shampooing. Mm-hmm. Most people will, these days, there's this myth of using oil before you go into to shampoo. Mm-hmm. But I think if you just wet your hair and then you go in and do your shampoo and make sure that you really get into the scalp. So, I think that will be very good. And then someone who has an oily scalp really needs a different shampoo from what the person who uses who has a dry scalp.
Who has dry scalp. Yeah, yeah. Okay, so people say, and it's said, that hair, and just like nails, is dead. Yes. You know, the moment it grows, you're dealing with a dead part of you. Yeah. So that's why some people don't even care what it is that they put in their hair as long as it's looking good and all that. So what should we consider most? Mm-hmm. The scalp or the hair? If your scalp is good, will the hair be fine?
The scalp, normally I say, is like soil. Mm-hmm. So you take good care of your soil, it gives you a good crop, right? So if you always are cleansing the scalp and making sure that it's clean, always, then you'll have good strands. But as the strands come out, sometimes the hair dries up. And as I had said earlier, these parts that are the ends are what you have had the most. So that's why we are going in with a conditioner always, to make sure that we really taking care of the strands, deep conditioning to strengthen this hair. And the most important thing also is to make sure that we always trim the split ends. It's very important to trim the split ends so that you have very nice. Some people will have very long hair, but that hair is not healthy. Okay. Because they keep the split ends, always hoping that, taking pride in having long hair. Yes, so it's important that we trim the ends so that we have long and healthy hair from the root to the tip.
And what causes split ends?
Dryness. Yes, just like I had said, and something that we should note, the sebum that the body gives us naturally normally escapes from the follicle where the hair grows from. And normally for us, especially this hair, it will come up to the mids, right? So these parts, because our hair coils, that sebum will never coil with the whole hair to the tip. Oh. So these parts are always dry, all right? So if you don't purpose to moisturize and really deep condition these ends, they will always be breaking, right? And most people will come in or even write message on Facebook saying that my hair is always breaking, or my hair is not growing. Hair is always growing at a rate of maybe 2 to 6 years, but because we never take care of our ends, so they are always breaking, but hair is growing, so you will never see length. So it's very important to make sure that you have healthy ends so that your hair is growing and not cutting at the tips. Yeah.
So now you've understood what Joyce's issues are. Is there something else you do to ascertain what's going on with her scalp?
Yes, I will. I'll do something. So the important thing will be first to just look at it, her hair, and let me just moisturize, sanitize. Yeah, and then I will go in to just look at Joyce's scalp. Yeah, and it has a bit of flex, as you can see. Yeah, so that it could be the reason why Joyce is itching. You can see.
Yeah.
Here. So the scalp is a bit dry and flaky. So we'll just go in and you see like here. So the next thing, I'll also just go in and do a bit of a massage on you, Joyce. And I want you to give me feedback. I want you to tell me whether you're feeling itchy, sensitive, pain, or you're just feeling relaxed, okay? All right, so that we really get to the areas where. So what are you feeling here?
That's fine.
That's fine?
Yeah.
Good. And here?
A bit of pain, actually in the middle part.
Here?
Yeah.
Okay. And here?
Same, a bit of pain.
A bit of pain there. Okay. And the ends? This is the side?
No, that's fine.
That's fine.
Yeah, I think my main issue is in the middle.
In the middle?
Yeah.
Okay. So that actually shows me that you could be having a problem. And if you look at your temples here, we can see that your temple has actually kind of like receded this side. And also this side is actually receding. So, and because you're telling me that you have pain here and you talked about itching, so you could be suffering from a patterned kind of hair loss. So we will go in and use this machine to really just see close to the scalp what is happening.
Okay,
right?
So when you say patterned hair loss, what's that?
Yeah, so normally there are different types of hair loss, and when a client comes in, actually you can start making a diagnosis from what the client talks about. Especially when Joyce started talking, she talked about itching in this area, and we have this condition that is called female pattern thinning, where it affects hair in a patterned manner, and it's normally genetic, and so your hair is thinning in the temples, the top, and crown area. And so it's genetic, and it's also caused by a hormone called DHT. Men and women carry the same hormones. So they have a bit of estrogen, we have a bit of testosterone. 2% of testosterone will always be converted into DHT, which is a very strong hormone. Gives men the masculinity that they have, the beard and everything. But when it comes to this part, then it combines with your genes, then it starts causing havoc in this area. So, and that's some of the symptoms are always itching in this area. That pain that she's talking about. Sometimes when you go for blow dry, you'll feel like the blow dry is really burning this area.
Yes.
Yeah? Yeah. And you're standing under the sun and you really feel like the sun is really baking this. That's not normal. So that's just a symptom of something that is happening there.
Okay.
All right? So I want to go in and normally because of that, when we are coming in with this machine, the diagnostic machine, we will start at the back here, because the hair at the sides and back is never affected by what is happening. It's resistant to that hormone.
Oh, really?
So when I start at the back, then it will give me a good picture of what to expect on the other side.
So does that explain why even baldness, receding hairlines, even in men, normally people have that airport over here,
Yes.
and then the rest is intact?
So females also go through that. Men will bald in a small area, and what happens is that as soon as a man starts thinning, they bald. Women linger a bit, they thin. Yeah, but in that area. But for women, it will kind of like come a bit below, where it's normal for men, and just below this bone as well. All right? Okay. So we will check and see.
All right.
Yeah.
So for you, Joyce, have you ever seen anyone in your family that has had a receding hairline or even baldness?
Yeah, that would be my mom. Yeah.
Okay. How does hers look like?
She doesn't have hair like the way she explained around this area.
Okay.
But I would just think like it's because she ties the
the headscarf?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, but I get what she's explaining.
Yes.
The hormone. Yeah.
All right. And has the issue of itchiness and loss of hair also come perhaps with age?
So, yeah, because way back in college, I would have like good hair. Like I wouldn't even need to wash and do all that.
Yeah.
It was just like full. People used to call it like walking bush.
Whoa.
Yeah, but nowadays I miss that and I wondered like what's happening. Yeah.
Okay.
So someone told me to come and see Christine.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I'm here.
Yeah. Let's see what's happening in the scalp.
Okay. So I will start at the back as I had mentioned. And Joyce, you can, as we look at your hair here, you can also,
Okay.
so that we can discuss through what we are seeing.
Oh my God.
Oh, wow. That's how the scalp looks like.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. And her scalp is a bit dry with a lot of flakes, as she had said.
So the white stuff is the flakes as we see them?
Yeah, so these are the flakes. Just showing that are the flakes that we actually saw. And you can actually see what on her. Yeah. So that is what is happening. This is her scalp. And you see, like it looks like a bit scaly.
Yeah.
So this is just your cells. All right, that are normally there to protect the inner parts of the scalp. And this is the area where your hair escapes from the scalp. So we will try and go in and get nice. Let me try and see. Good.
That's a buck.
Yes, that's the back.
Which actually doesn't have much, eh?
No, it has. This is very good density.
Okay.
Yeah, that's very good density. And as you can see, Joyce's hair is very good. It's actually coming out in clusters of twos. And I'm sure we'll see a bit of threes somewhere else, which is very good. That's why she has this bush, although she's saying that...
that it's lessened.
Yeah, it's less, yes. And as you can see on the scalp, it's not very clear, but you can see some red. Moving. So this is her vessels that are just delivering nutrients to the bulb. All right. And then as just I don't know whether you can see that about some yellow there. Can you see some yellow?
Yeah, here.
Yeah.
That's here.
That's good. Yeah, and you can see some on the strands. That's the natural oil, sebum, that the body provides. And normally that oil should ideally come out and your scalp should be clean because it escapes through the same follicle and then it will cover your scalp and then take to some parts of the strands. As you remember, I said that halfway of her hair will normally be very good taken care of, but the top will always be very dry because of this sebum that is coming out.
Now, there's something I'm interested in.
Yes.
You said, like, now they're escaping in twos, and perhaps we might even see threes, which explains her mane. So are we saying for those that don't have a bigger or fuller mane, They grow in ones?
Some of them, yes.
Okay, explain that.
Yeah, it's just the genetics
Uh-huh.
that some people will have very thick hair and others will have fine hair.
Okay.
Yeah.
So behind the scenes, that's what's happening. 3 strands vis-a-vis 1 strand.
Yes, someone who will have very thick hair, you can actually see 4 or 5.
Uh-huh. Is it something that you can change? I know genetics are different.
No,
Is it something
nothing.
that you can work on?
Yeah, nothing really.
Uh-huh.
We can't change the genetics, but we can actually keep the hair healthy.
Uh-huh.
Yes,
Okay.
as it comes out.
So
of
you
the
just work
scalp.
with what grows as is?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, so we'll continue and see what is happening on the... Okay, so maybe what I should have talked about, showing you what I am actually looking for, the thickness. So now we can ignore the flex. Yeah, now you can see the blood actually very clearly here. And this is the sebum. This is very good. Sebum has antifungal and antimicrobial properties, so it should protect you from the attack of harmful fungus, and it should also moisturize and nourish the scalp. So your scalp is very good because you see, as much as it's like this, we are still seeing a lot of sebum coming through. So this is the thickness that we are looking for, and the general density. So as we start coming this side, we want to check whether the thickness of the strands will change, and the area where the hair escapes from the scalp should be like this. This is very comfortable, nothing really happening under the scalp.
All right.
So let's...
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
There's lesser hair there.
Yeah, so now that's what we are talking about. Now Joyce is kind of like thinning in this area. Yeah, and as you can see now, we are seeing a bit of thin hairs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's
the
all
area
this
where the hair is...
space.
Yes, the area where the hair is sinking into the scalp has a bit of inflammation. So let's keep going and see.
So before we even move, does
Yeah.
it mean there was hair here, then it fell off?
Oh, actually, when what I have done, I have separated her hair. So I'm actually getting into the scalp
Okay.
like this. But this is what she has.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. But those scales are what we should look at.
Take care of.
Yes, yes.
Oh.
Immediately. Now you see that one has 3, right? Yeah, that's very good.
So she clearly has a lot of sebum.
So you can see her strands are actually very thick, nicely.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll continue moving to see whether the other parts. And then because her strands come out in clusters of 2s and 3s, when you see a strand that is alone, then that means that the neighbor has really thinned out and died.
Okay.
All right? So we want to see whether we will see a lot of this as we move on.
Wow.
So something else that I should mention in regards to the sebum.
Yes.
As I had said, when it comes out, it escapes through the same the same follicle. So the scalp should be clean. When it has a lot of this buildup, then that fungus, that sebum comes out and clings to this buildup.
Yes.
So it's actually not nourishing your scalp. And then sometimes when it's the buildup is blocking this area, the sebum will not come out the way we want.
Okay.
So it will actually stick below, and then you start becoming very acidic, and acidic is not good for the scalp.
So which
you
is
really
what
start-
makes the itchiness?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
And then that means it won't come all the
Yeah.
way to the hair.
Yes.
Okay.
And then we all have a fungus on our scalp.
Yes.
It's known as Malcesia, and it really likes feeding on oils. So if this oil is not moving, then that malassezia is coming in to just settle in this area, and then it starts really like feeding on that oil, and after it's fed and it's full, all the waste on your scalp, then that also causes a lot of itching.
Okay.
So that could be something else that could be causing the itching.
Okay.
So for a client like Joyce, normally what I prescribe first is to really get into the spa that we have so that we can help her get rid of all this.
Okay.
To do a very nice deep cleansing wash, and then also that comes with a very relaxing massage to really get rid of this so that we can get her scalp ready for good hair.
Okay.
That's the first thing that we really encourage.
All right. So, Joyce, would you consider yourself having dry skin or oily skin or combination?
A combination.
It's a combination.
Yes.
Okay. And how often do you oil your hair?
Because of the itchiness, I try to do it like maybe every 3 or 4 days. Yeah, because it gets very itchy. Yeah.
Yeah. Something that I should mention
Yes.
is that especially when the sebum comes and clings and just doesn't move.
Yeah.
Most of the people will think that, oh, my scalp is very dry and flaky, so let me go in with a lot of oil. As I told you, that fungus is very active now. So you'll just be feeding that fungus with that oil. So the most important thing is to now cleanse the scalp, remove all this, then you can add in a bit of oil.
Okay.
Yeah.
That
Instead
explains.
of like going into the scalp and giving that fungus more oil, because it's very active when the scalp is looking like this.
Okay. That explains some people who say, especially like when they breathe or even when they wash, when they put on oil, the itchiness starts. But if they let it be, it will be dry, but it won't bother them.
Yeah.
So does that mean there is a problem? You're just not provoking it?
You see, when it's like this, and you put oil,
Yes.
then you really it's worse. It gets
So
worse.
how about if she didn't put oil? Would she get away with it?
Not really. It will still itch because you see that sebum, it's always coming out.
Okay.
It's actually active to come out every day. So if you're not washing your hair, right, your scalp,
Yes.
then that oil is coming out every day. So you will actually be itchy still. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is natural hair, right? Yes. All right. How often do you wash it?
Every after 2 or 3 weeks.
2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Do you do it yourself or you always go to the salon?
The salon.
All right.
Yeah.
You're one of those, you don't really care what they do with it as long as it's fine.
I'm learning from her that I should care.
Okay, so before we get to see now what happens when you do the deep cleansing, and
Yeah.
perhaps then we'll come back and see if it made a difference in the strands. I think let's talk more about the hair loss, and because with the story we ran earlier is about alopecia, and it seems to be something that affects more men than women, but women actually get the brunt of it because of hormonal changes. What else have you seen?
Actually, men only get genetic hair loss. Yeah, we have not seen a lot of men getting a lot of problems with hair loss. Women will go through the same thing genetically. And we have always known that women are not supposed to go through this. But actually, they go through it because they carry the same hormones with men. But something else that will actually bring women in would be the hormonal changes. Like example is when you're getting into the premenopausal, when your estrogen levels actually start coming down and your testosterone remain the same, then that really affects the hair. We also see a lot of women, because you see we giving birth and menstruation every month.
Yes.
The iron levels are affected at times. And mostly what we look for, trichologists, is the iron stores, all right? Because when you do your normal blood analysis, your hemoglobin would look very okay. But for us, we are looking at the iron stores, all right? So that is what we look for, because that's what really the hair really likes. When the iron stores are okay, then the hair flourishes.
Okay.
The other thing that will bring ladies in is the premenopausal age also is an autoimmune condition that is called frontofibrosing, where the white blood cells really become worky in the scalp and start chewing the bulbs, right? Ooh. Yes, so they will start with the eyebrows, and so you don't have eyebrows at all, and then they come and start really killing the bulbs on the hairline, and then when it comes close to the ears like this, goes around, and so starts killing all the bulbs.
Okay.
So some ladies will come in when they have halfway of hair, and all this hair has died. Because when the frontofibrosing, really what happens, I'll show you there what really happens on a photo. But the follicle, the cells that feed the follicle, the stem cells, and the sebaceous gland are dead. They die. So you can't get hair growing anymore. Right?
Okay, and perhaps we can see what you mean practically on the chart.
Yeah,
you know, some of these things the last time we had was in school.
Yeah.
Okay, so what are we looking at? Yeah, we can move to the... Okay, we need the chart behind you, sweetie. Okay.
Yeah.
So what are we looking at?
Okay, so this here we are looking at the normal human hair, a bit blown out because of we have to look at it and learn. So this is the hair bulb, the part that really receives nutrients and oxygen here, and then gives you very nice, strong hair. And so this is the nutrients that are coming in. So what Joyce is going through, the thinning that we have talked about, so that hormone will always be moving with the blood, and then it will come and settle in this area. So that now this part has no access to nutrients.
Okay.
All right? Then it starts thinning. We call it miniaturization. So with time, as it miniaturizes, then it will die completely. That's what quickly happens to men, right? Okay. So, and then this is the sebaceous gland, the part that will give you sebum. And it comes from here and then escapes and comes and nourishes this part, moisturizes and also protects the scalp. So this is the part that will die, all right, in the frontofibrosing case.
So it kills the sebaceous gland.
The sebaceous gland and the stem cells, of the hair.
Okay.
So then when this is not there and the stem cells are not there, so you will not have hair growing.
Okay.
All right. That's and this is a vessel. Actually, every bulb is attached to this hair muscle. It's called the rectopelline muscle. So when you're thinning, when this part is thinning, this muscle also thins, and you become very tight here. That's why when bald men, you look at them, they are very tight. All right, the scalp is very tight because actually this muscle has really.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So, in the case now of women who come with this autoimmune condition, is there a chance of reversing it, or you have to treat the autoimmune condition for you to be able to protect now the hair?
What we normally do, because what if they come in and they have lost a bit of hair that we can't recover unless we do something else. But what is of importance when we start treatment is to make sure that we stop any hair further loss, further hair loss, right? So we do treatment in the areas where they still have, where they still have hair, to stop further hair loss.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, we're about to take a short break, and I'm very curious to know what happens after this. What will we be coming back to see? What will we do?
What we are coming in to discuss. So we'll discuss what is actually happening, and then we will discuss treatment, how we are going to sustain Joyce's hair, because we can't allow it to continue thinning. So we will really come in and discuss. All right? Yes. Yeah. Okay. That's what we are coming in to see.
All right.
And then I will also talk to Joyce on how to take care of her hair and her scalp.
All right.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Now, this break is going to be very short, so we will need to move from one end to another. But also, I understand there's some blood work that is also needed to be done to understand this better.
Yes. Yeah. And that is what actually Joyce will require, because we'll take a bit of blood, about 60 mils, spin at a very high speed, and get the platelets. Because platelets carry growth factors in the body. Okay. So we spin that blood, separate the components, and harvest the plasma that is rich in platelets. So that now we come in and deposit those platelets in the areas that are thinning.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right then. So we take a short break. When we come back, a lot of your feedback coming in, even as you tell us some of the myths or beliefs you've had about hair growth, and there's a long list depending on which part of this country you come from. But also we'll get to understand more about how we can take care of the hair. Clearly today, now you know, it goes beyond just what you see on the surface. It goes beyond that, and a lot of work needs to go into it, as we'll see through the eyes of Joyce. We'll be right back.
Shopping season is here thanks to Notify Mall. Shop from hundreds of online shops at our mega malls along Moi Avenue in Nairobi and Moi Avenue in Mombasa. Notify Mall, all your favorite online brands under one roof.
Did you know at Ruiru Mabati Factory you can open an account and lipa pole pole at your convenience? Did you know at Ruiru Mabati Factory you can get customized sizes according to your roof plan to avoid wastage? Did you know Ruiru Mabati Factory offers free delivery countrywide within 72 hours? Call us now on 0111 050 700. Ruiru Mabati Factory, Mali Safi kwa bei poa.
Everyone has a story.
Skin on my face also had started to tighten up.
A journey of pain, moments of happiness, suffering.
Anytime I would see a man with a child, I would start to cry.
And love that have all shaped who we are today. Unscripted is all about having bold, difficult yet inspiring conversations that encourage each of us to own our stories. You don't want to miss yet another season of fresh and uplifting conversations with me, Grace Salame, only on NTV.
Join Property Focus every week as we walk you through some of the latest house designs, property, hot deals on land for sale, modern furniture, trendy kitchens, finishes, and also get to hear experts' opinions on matters architecture, building construction, and real estate. Now, catch the show with me, Peter and Gigi, every Sunday at 5:30 p.m. only on NTV. Let's go.
We have moved. The Nation Media Group Kisumu office is now located at Mega Plaza along Oginga Odinga Street, Wing A on the 6th floor. Contact our customer care desk for more details on 0719 038931 for assistance.
Timeless love.
I thought today would be the happiest day of my life. Sooner or later, we will have news about Geronimo.
So you believe that he escaped with a doctor? Well, he ran to her arms once when Renata told him to jump in the lake. That man has low passions, and I'm convinced he's with her right now.
And that's not all, Regina. There's an order of apprehension against you.
Timeless love.
Yummy. I know, Nitamo. It's no surprise. The good quality baked bread from Bowl A is festive bread. Chukua yako moja leo.
Told Devin Booker, be legendary. He is marching towards those orders. He's done it all for the Suns. He's done all season, and especially here in the playoffs. Torrey Craig for three. Got it! Booker, the young man, is in his 6th year in the NBA, and he is shining on the big stage of the postseason. Booker, the drive, back to Ayton for the slam! Clippers falling back into their 2-1-2 or 2-3 zones. Devin Booker putting on a clinic. Booker finds some space, and Devin Booker drills the jumper. Right now, Booker is unguardable. It's a Booker bonanza.
Thank you for staying with Your World. My name is Gladys Gachanja. Today we're coming to you live from the Bloomer Tech Trichology, and hosting us is actually Christine Kingori, who is the trichologist, as you heard. This is an expert who cares for your hair, and they check on your hair falling, you know, thinning, balding, and of course diseases of the scalp. And earlier on, we were walking this conversation with the help of Joyce, who is here to also figure out about her hair and her scalp. And we found out that there is actually more to hair than just, you know, what we see at the top. So she's been sent off to get some deep cleansing and moisturizing to just understand how we can remove the dandruff we were seeing. That's what we call it, yes. Layman. Mm-hmm. But then again, before we catch up with her and understand the intricacies of doing that and the impact of the same, there is another part of diagnosis. Christine, tell us more about it.
Yeah, so this is Wesley, who has been going through thinning. You know, normally, traditionally, men had agreed that it's normal for them to thin and bald. But young people like Wesley now don't want to bald, and we are here, the technology has changed that. So Wesley has been going through thinning, so we have been doing treatment for him. Actually, he came in and his hair was very bad, so we have done 2 treatments already, and he's here for his 3rd one. So normally we will just draw blood, so we will puncture his vein and get blood. We'll draw 60 mils. Of 60.
And what exactly will we be trying to find out?
So we will be doing PRP, platelet rich plasma. As I had explained earlier, platelets carry growth factors in the body. So those growth factors are what we are depositing in to just really feed that bulb that is thinning. Because remember, there's something that is blocking that bulb from accessing nutrients.
So if somebody came with a bald head and they wanted, or balding head, and they wanted their hair to grow back, is that what you would deposit back on
It
the
depends
scalp?
with the extent of damage, because hair that has thinned up to 50%, we will actually recover it to 100% thickness. We'll bring the thickness back to 100%. But if you've gone beyond 50%, then it will be a bit of a struggle. So that's why we say normally if we capture it early, then we can try and recover the hair.
So there's hope. There's hope. Definitely.
So the sooner you find out that your hair is thinning or you're losing a lot of hair, the better for you to come.
And this is for both men and women?
Yes. And that's why Wesley is here.
All right.
So now today we are going to draw some blood, about 60 mils. And then Rose will, this is Rose.
Yes.
So she will draw the blood and then she will put into the machine. It's called a centrifuge machine. We spin that blood at a very high speed and separate the components of blood. Then we harvest the plasma that is rich in platelets.
Okay.
Yeah, so then we will deposit that into Wesley's scalp. His hair is doing very well.
Oh, clearly. It doesn't look like it has
normally
a problem.
when the treatment is 4 months, active treatment. Then we take a break on the 5th month. Then on the 6th month, Wesley will come back for a review. And I'm sure he'll be, because Wesley really loves his hair.
Okay, it's interesting that you say that it was thinning. To me, it's a full mane.
It has come a long way.
So clearly he had more hair than this. Okay, so we can see the nurse do that, draw the blood and all that.
Yes.
But even as she does that, you can continue.
You can start,
Perhaps you can, we've talked extensively about the loss of hair and the different reasons why. Stress has also been said to be another factor. Do you see that happening a lot, where you do all the diagnosis, somebody goes to their doctor, nothing is wrong with them, but when you interrogate, you find that they are dealing with such huge stress factors?
Yes. And so those are the client will be going through diffuse hair loss. Yeah, hair that is not really coming in a patterned manner like what Wesley is experiencing. So you're losing hair on all the parts of your scalp diffusely. So that's what I'm saying. You're losing more than 100 strands of hair. So that's the time that you really need to come in. And normally we will interrogate and ask what has been happening. Especially the stressor should have happened maybe 3 months before. That you start losing the hair. And it's actually stress, and that stress could be either you are sick or you're just stressed because of office work or school, or this COVID season has really caused a lot of stress. And some people can say that it's okay, I'm not stressed, but normally hair is a very good barometer. It really shows us what is happening in the body.
So it can be a symptom of something else that's happening.
Or maybe you went through a condition and you never really dealt with it, and then you start losing hair because it's actually in the subconscious, but you never really think that you're still dealing with it. So the hair would really tell us.
All right. Okay, and even there's a question here that says, what's the connection between hair loss and drastic weight loss?
When you lose, people who go on to dieting, very strong, diet. You change your diet, you become a vegan and all that abruptly, really changes the weight of the body, and the hair, you start losing hair as well. Because, and you should have started that dieting most likely 3 months before you start losing hair, because it's a shock to the body.
Okay.
Yeah, so that you start losing hair.
So what has been shocked for your follicles to give way?
Normally there is the growing phase of the hair. We have the growing phase, which is called anagen, the resting phase, and the falling phase. So when the body goes through any kind of shock, it could be dieting, it could be you've just gotten a baby, or you're going through a low iron levels.
Okay.
Yeah, so you see that period of 3 months. So what happens is that the follicles quickly, because 90% is always in the growing phase. And then 5%, 7% will be in the resting phase, and then the other percentage will be in the falling phase. So the hair quickly, about 50% or 70%, will quickly move from the growing phase to the falling phase. All right? But that's something that will recover with time. Once you change or you gain weight to what the body is comfortable with, then you start growing hair again.
Okay.
And that's a good example is people who are going through chemotherapy. You will quickly lose hair because the body normally senses that it has other things to do to rescue you so that like you don't die. So it ignores the hair and really you lose that hair. But quickly when you stop treatment, the hair grows back.
Okay.
Yeah.
Could it also have to do with the fact that there's some minerals, especially if somebody's dieting and ignoring, you know, having a full diet or a healthy diet, then perhaps you're also taking away from what, you know, feeds the hair?
Yeah, that's true. Especially people who become vegans. Because meat has the heme that we really need for your hair, B12. Okay. Yeah, and B12 can only be found in beef. So if you stop eating beef, then there has to be something else that you can do to supplement for that. Because hair really needs that B12. So the other thing that you should do is to keep doing your blood tests to really find out where your B12 is. Because B12 is very important for the hair to grow. Yeah.
Now that we're talking about nutrients and what is good for the hair, apart from B12, what else is good for the hair? You mentioned the protein. What else is good for the hair?
Your biotin is good for the hair. Vitamin D is good for the hair. Vitamin C is good for the hair. So it's just trying to get, especially vitamin D, for some people, especially people who don't like going to the sun. When the sun is out, it's important to go and get that vitamin D. If you're always in the house and not going out, then when the vitamin D goes down, then you start losing hair.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's important to just get that full vitamins and minerals that your hair needs.
So is this only found in food, or can we go the supplementation way, because there's a lot of that in the market now?
It's important to get it in food. If you can get it in food, very important. But for people who are, for example, always go to the vegans, those ones can get something out there to really supplement, to give them the B12. But if you can eat food, and food that is naturally grown, that's the best.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how about the age? How does age play into this? Because as you grow older, you will see you lose more hair, it thins, you know, and yet for a child who is eating the same food as you, then they're fine.
Yeah.
So should you perhaps take up the supplementation because your body is not working at optimum?
Not always. It's important that we do some blood analysis to see what we don't have, so that we just don't, because if I go to the pharmacy, I will get all these food supplements.
Yes.
And maybe my body is not looking for what I'm getting. So it's good to go to a doctor who will ask for food, the blood supplement, blood analysis, and then we see which supplements that you don't have, and then we.
Okay, so we are now doing the PRP. Is that what you're talking
about? It's now spinning. We are spinning that blood at a very high speed. So after about maybe less than 5 minutes, she will get that blood out and remove some of the red blood cells and plasma. And then we will put back a second time to really concentrate the platelets in the plasma. And then we will harvest that.
So how soon do you implant the platelets after this process?
Immediately after normally we do it very fresh.
Yes.
Right? So immediately when she has finished the second spin and harvested the plasma that is rich in platelets, we quickly just start. Yes.
Okay, so somebody is asking, apart from doing the platelets implantation, can the hair just grow back on its own?
We have to, because you see, as I had explained earlier, there's a hormone that is blocking nutrients, from getting to your bulb. So if we don't feed that bulb, then it will keep on thinning until it gives up and you don't have hair anymore. So it's good to do an active treatment for that hair to thicken it, and then leave it for, maybe you can supplement with some, normally I would give some people some supplements to really help in thickening that body. Minerals that really your hair needs, your biotins, your vitamin D, your B12, and all those to really just help in thickening that hair. Yeah, but it's important to do the treatment because there's an underlying condition that we can't really ignore.
All right, so we now understand exactly what PRP is and how it goes into helping those that have had hair loss, you know, get their mane back, so to speak. And as you can see, Osley has a really good head of hair, but he feels it's been shedding, so he's been under treatment. But also remember, we had asked you on our question of the day, what are some of these myths or beliefs you've had out there about hair growth? And we have Tron, who says diet poor in vitamins makes your hair grow unhealthy, and Brown, and I think trichologists would tell us about the change of hair color and what that means. Modoni says, apart from castor oil, maybe a mix of ginger, coconut oil, and shea butter. Yes, a lot of this is said out there. Then Mercy says the use of rice water, especially pishori to be precise. I have no idea what this is, but I understand a lot of this is said over and over again. And perhaps you can tell us the use of rice water. There are people who swear by it. Myth or fiction?
Myth.
Oh, okay, myth or fact?
Myth.
It's a myth?
Yes.
Okay, so why do people think that it works?
I am not sure who came up with that.
Okay, this is interesting.
Yes.
How about the castor oils, the shea butter, the coconut oil? What is the relation with hair growth?
That's especially the castor oil. It's good for your hair. It's a good moisturizing oil. Yeah, so it's important to use those kind of oils, but not on a daily basis. Because remember, I also said that there's a sebum. That,
Okay, so how often should you
maybe
nourish?
twice a week.
I
need to vomit.
Oh, really? Okay, sawa. We take a short break. When we come back, we'll go and see what's happening with Joyce when she is getting her deep cleansing in a moment. We'll be right back.
At 10 p.m. Italy versus Spain.
Come on big, ni Star Times. Get connected today for only $9.99 aerial decoder and 2,699 satellite dish.
Star Times. Enjoy digital life.
What do you think about Molfix?
Actually, another brand is recommended to me. but it had a leakage problem. Then I decided to try Molfix. His clothes don't get wet anymore.
Because Molfix provides extra protection against leakage thanks to its anti-leakage elastic barriers. All babies deserve a high-quality diaper. You should also try Molfix.
Just one capful of Dettol is enough to disinfect surfaces and protect your family and your home. Dettol, tested effective against COVID-19.
Timeless love.
I thought today would be the happiest day of my life. Sooner or later, we will have news about Geronimo.
So you believe that he escaped with a doctor? Well, he ran to her arms once when Renata told him to jump in the lake. That man has low passions, and I'm convinced he's with her right now.
And that's not all, Regina. There's an order of apprehension against you.
Timeless love.
Yummy. I know, Nitamo. It's no surprise. The good quality baked bread from Bol A is festive bread. Chukua yako moja leo.
Akili, 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 akili.
Will you wash your hands with me? I want to wash my hands with you. Come on, I will show you what to do. Wash your hands in clean water. Wash your hands, wet them with the water. Wash your hands, now add some soap. Scrub your hands in the soap and water. Scrub above and below between the fingers too. Scrub under your nails and scrub a dub-a-doo. Rinse your hands in water. Rinse them clean, rinse away the soap. Dry your hands and go.
Achille, why do we wash our hands?
To wash away the germs.
Achille, what are germs?
They're like tiny little bugs on your hands and they can make you sick.
But I don't see any germs on my hand.
That's because they're so tiny that you can't even see them.
Oh wow! I want to wash the germs away. Will you wash your hands with me, Achille?
Of course!
Kwa nini kunichenga chenga?
Miaka mitatu kule Japan.
Kidogo tu.
Usomea kudunga watu.
Utamu tu.
Sindane.
Jamani, tunachenga mpira ndani ya gumzo la Sato.
Sitaki mzee aliezeka. Nataka kijana. Sasa ni
Kazo wewe una vita na sisi mteleza.
Bila utakuota kidogo.
Ngoja. Hata mimi.
Tukijadili masuala yanayokuathiri wewe katika jamii.
Hii ni sura yangu na hii sura imeolewa. Kuna mambo mingi kwa ndoa ambayo hayahusiani na mapenzi peke yake.
Penda kweli lakini pia tumia bongo.
Naloogopa kusema na wengine Frida twaliweka wazi.
Huyo mwanamume wa kizungu akaja na pupa mwisho akabakishwa na kachumbari na maavocado.
I might be a burden to her. Like she'll be feeding me like this.
Huyo babu mimi namuelewa. Anajua anakoenda. Chiro hata afadhali ungeniuliza ngepale ndugu yangu mdogo.
Ombea.
We just having fun. We won't carry on. Crazy guests like make this stallion. But my girlfriend they turn me on. That's why I hold on tight. Hold on, jaja. Hold on tight. Hold on, jaja.
To get a bule by Pato ranking, dial star 812 801 hash. Skiza na Nation.
These flags are representing the people that live in Philadelphia.
To make it in America, you need to be focused, steady, you need to be consistent, you need to work.
My Swahili is still pretty hopeless. Jambo Bwana, Missouri Sana.
You can take an African out of Africa, but you can't take out the African in them.
The experience in Kenya has been a great one. It's been positive. The weather is great. It's like our home city in Nigeria, which is Jos.
I watch Daring Abroad. Congratulations for what you do.
You can't even understand that David will go on with his life without you.
Oh, sweetie.
You were the one who started all this. You wanted to kill me!
No! What is going on? Enough! I told you! I'm busy and I'm fine. I'll be done in a minute.
Tell them that their aunt just killed someone. And the only thing that's quite clear to me is that you're a murderer. Well, I always knew that. But this time, I have proof.
Enough! Shut up!
Along came love.
Wow, thank you for your time. How juicy.
Juicy.
Thank you for staying with Your World. We are coming to you live from Bloom Trichology, and this is where we are learning more about hair health. Our host today is actually Christine Kingori, who is a trichologist. And as you can see, Joyce was with us earlier on as we understood hair health through her own experience, as she's here to find out why her hair is thinning and also why she seems to be very itchy. And as mentioned earlier by the trichologist, she needed to have a good deep cleansing to get the flaking out. And at this point, what exactly happens? We can see it's the normal salon washing, but is it really normal when it comes to you?
No.
Okay.
We are actually changing the story at the sink, because it's important that we really do a very nice deep cleansing. As we looked at Joyce's scalp on the other side, it has a lot of flaking. It is very dry. So we are really trying to go in and get rid of those flakes so that her scalp is ready for the sebum and even the treatment. As we had said earlier, the scalp is always like soil. So if you take care of the soil, it gives you a good crop. So we have to prepare the soil first. And then we start doing the treatment for the hair to start growing, thickening back.
Okay.
Yeah.
When we come to the washing, and I think we've had different ways, different saloonists do it differently.
Yes.
What do you start with? Is it the conditioning first, or do you start with the shampooing first?
It's always the shampoo first, because shampoo is what is meant to really get rid of the oils that you have been applying, the sebum that has been on the scalp, your dead cells, your sweat, and everything. So you get in the shampoo, do it the first time and rinse, and then do the second time. And the difference that we have here is that when we do the second one, then we come in with an exfoliating agent, which is just helping us to scrub, just the way you go to the to a spa to exfoliate your face, to do a facial. That's what we also do for the scalp.
Okay.
So we will come in with some exfoliating agent, which for today is just sugar crystals, because those sugar, when you put in, as you massage, the gland feels very good as it hits the epidermis, that can massage. And then at the same time, it's exfoliating the scalp. And the good thing about the sugar is that it melts away as you do that. Then when you rinse out, the scalp is clean.
So are we talking about a specialized kind of sugar, or you can use your sugar at home?
Yeah, the normal sugar, it has crystals.
Okay.
And they are not very big, huge, because you don't want to hurt your scalp at the same time.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay, now the reason I ask is because some hairdressers will say, let me first put the conditioner to let your hair, you know, loosen up, perhaps especially after braiding or plaiting.
Yes.
And then wash with shampoo.
Yes.
Then condition again to ensure that nothing is tangling. Would you give it a heads up?
Yes. That's
okay,
fine.
that thumbs up?
Yes,
okay.
because the conditioner really helps in combing the hair. Because if you comb your hair when it's very dry, then you're cutting it, you're breaking it. Yeah, so you have to at least put some conditioner to comb. It makes it easy for you to move the comb through without breaking the hair.
Okay.
And then you come in with your shampoo and condition.
And speaking about shampooing, there are people who say if you use certain shampoos with certain products, it will not be good for your hair. For example, there is this age-old, debate about sulfur, or is it sulfates? What's that about, and what's the impact on hair?
That's a myth, actually. Sulfur is not bad.
Okay.
Sulfur is your own, because you have been using your oils. You have been sweating. The sebum is on your scalp. So you really need to go in with a good shampoo that has a bit of sulfur to really get rid of that, to cleanse the scalp. And then the sulfate frees are also good because you don't use your sulfur every day.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you have used your sulfur today, your sulfur today, then in between you want to do a shampoo, then you go in with a sulfate free, which is a more mild shampoo to just in between the sulfates.
Okay.
That's fine.
And what is the role of silicone in hair?
Silicone is not bad. It really just helps in smoothening the strands.
Okay.
Yeah, so silicone is not bad for
All right. So that's why some products actually have
Yes,
them.
yes,
okay,
yes,
and
yes.
are
And we should use
recommended.
them. Yeah.
Okay, now in terms of, because there are many products out there, and there are some people who say, no, stay away from this, use these ones. What should you consider when you're looking through those ingredients in your shampoo and your conditioner?
As I said, your sulfate is good, and look for a shampoo that will also hydrate your hair, and then just a shampoo depending on your hair type.
Yes,
actually, look for a shampoo that will go with your hair.
So for the dry.
For the dry, look for a hydrating shampoo.
Okay.
Yeah.
And this should have what? The shea moistures that we were talking about, the shea butter, the coconut oil, olive oil.
Coconut oil tends to dry hair and scalp. So I don't really... but there are some people that coconut oil works for.
Yeah, there are some people who swear by it.
Yeah. But others, it really tends to dry the scalp and hair. Yeah.
All right.
So just go for oil that really will go well with. So that's why we say keep trying and use something that really works with your hair. Yeah.
How about the ones who have oily skin?
What we say is once you have washed your scalp, go in with an oil, but don't oil every day. Because if your sebum is active, your sebaceous gland, it's always giving you that sebum. So go in when you have washed your scalp, because it will get dry very soon. Put in some oil. Then go for about 2-3 days without oil, because your sebum will come out and do its work. Yes.
Okay, Joyce. So the sugar is in the scalp. How does it feel? Or did you already sleep?
It feels good. I'm enjoying the massage. Yeah.
How does it feel? Does it feel like you're having a facial scrub?
No.
But in your scalp?
Yeah.
Okay, so definitely this will be washed off totally, right?
Yes, it will.
Yeah.
It will be washed off.
And how often should somebody do this?
Once a month is good.
Okay.
Yeah, once a month is good.
Now
to just come in and really get rid of the build-up that you have had on your scalp.
Okay, at least today we've discovered another use for sugar
on
your head. Okay, and even as we let Joyce enjoy this, we've been told, and some of us grew up with this, the avocado in your hair, the eggs in your hair. And earlier you mentioned the protein is really good for the hair. Is that where all this came from?
That's where everything, all this come from. But it's a myth for you to take your avocado and your banana and your egg and mix and just put on your hair. Because the molecules in these things are huge. They can't even penetrate your strand. Because normally your strand is made of 3 parts. Your medulla, which we really not But there's the two most important, the cuticle and the cortex.
Yes.
So normally when you're using your conditioner or your deep conditioner, we want it to pass through the cuticle to the cortex. So if you go for these products that have been formulated in the lab, they have picked some of the things that you have in your avocado and egg, and put them in a molecule that can get through to your strand. All right. So if you take a banana, just a ripe banana,
yes,
and mix with an avocado and an egg, those things will just sit on your strands.
So not even a little bit will go through?
They'll just sit there, even for 1 hour, as long as you want them there, and then you'll rinse them out.
So nothing. It doesn't benefit you at all in its raw form.
Yeah. Just go for your deep conditioner that you buy. They have done everything, lifted what they wanted in the right quantities. The molecules are small enough to penetrate through the strand and do the work that we want to do.
So would it make more sense if you perhaps ate it instead of putting it on?
That's true. And that's what I tell my clients.
Yes.
Go and eat that avocado and go and buy that deep conditioner and use it on your hair.
Interesting perspective.
Yeah.
Okay, a couple of questions coming through to you. Is whitening hair for younger people normal? And this is actually a legit question because I see a lot more of white hair in younger people today. What is that symptomatic of?
Young people, depends on what age you're talking about.
We're talking about as young as late 20s. You start seeing somebody has a
gray
couple
hair.
of strands.
That's genetics. The only age that we really dive in to see why they are graying is anything below 15 years, 13 years, because when they start graying, then there must be something in the nutrients that they are taking. So either they are missing out on some nutrients, or maybe the body is not absorbing the nutrients that the body needs for, So we dive in to really do some tests and see what could be happening. But after 18, 20, it's okay to have 1 or 2 gray hairs.
All right.
If it's genetic,
And there's some people that say that stress levels also kind of accelerate the number of white hairs. Is this true?
Yeah. So you have to be predisposed to graying first. All right. And then if you go through stress, then you accelerate. Stress sometimes accelerates that, but it's not the main reason why you're graying.
Okay, now we know people dye to hide these things. You put henna and all that.
Yeah.
Is there a way to actually reverse that process when it starts? Or when it starts, that's it?
When it starts, that's it. We really don't have a solution for that right now. But there's always research going on. Maybe in future we'll be given a go-ahead to use something that will really reverse that. But for now, we don't have a solution for that. So normally what we say and what I advise is that you can visit a professional colorist who will help you really get into camouflaging and hiding that by using the right color.
For those who feel they need to hide
yes,
it. So
yes,
really,
yes,
there's
yes.
some who wear it in pride.
Yeah,
the salt and pepper we talk about.
Yes.
All right. Now, talking about coloring your hair.
Yeah.
People like putting different colors on them, but it has been said, do it at your own peril because color can be a bit harsh on the hair. Explain.
Okay. When you put color, you compromise on the moisture of your hair.
Okay.
So when you have color, first, color you have to use, when you have put color, you have to use the right products. Products for the, Pro Color, something that really will help your color shine, because if you use the other normal shampoos, they really rip the color away. And then, so you have to also, the person who is doing it must be a professional, and they have to advise you first. Because some people put color, and then they continue with life as normal, like you had natural hair. But you need to do a lot more moisturizing for that hair, because you have compromised on the moisture of that hair.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Now, somebody else is asking, now that you've talked about eat the food and then it will be absorbed to your hair, they are asking and putting across the fact that some people's hairs are naturally brownish, like they're not totally black. Is this a genetic component, or it could also be symptomatic of what's missing in your body?
Mostly it will be genetics, but if it has changed. So you have always had this dark hair, and then something happened and it changed color. Then we can look into what could be happening. Maybe the minerals that you're not taking in, but it's also maybe you've changed the products, and the person who is working on your hair is not doing a very good job. Then the color of the hair changes. Yes.
Okay.
But mostly it could just be genetics. If you have been growing up with that color.
The kind of color.
Yeah, unless it has abruptly changed. Yeah.
So is it marasmus or kwasheko where the color of the hair changes?
All those,
yes.
Yeah.
So that could actually be also some nutrients are missing or you're malnourished, right?
Yeah. Then that's what I'm saying. It has changed the color. So you have had this dark, natural thick hair, and all of a sudden you're noticing that it's changing color. Then we have to dive in to find out, is it the nutrition or is it the chemicals that you're using that are changing the color of the hair?
Okay, and we are living at a time where the sun is getting hotter and hotter. So there is all this advice as to how to take care of your skin, wear your sunscreen, and dermatologists will swear by the fact that the sunscreen will take care of your skin and actually delay aging of the skin. Is there something to protect the hair?
I think just making sure that you do the shampooing. Don't leave your hair very dry. Shampoo, deep condition your hair. Use the right products. Moisturize. Always make sure that your hair is moisturized. Yeah.
That will be good.
Yeah.
So if you're going out to the sun, would it be advisable if it's extreme sun for you to put on a hat
to cover?
if you can?
Yes, it's important to cover your hair. Yeah.
Right.
Because the sun will actually bleach your hair at times. But you have to be going to the sun every day and spending a very long period of time out there. But if you're just going for a period of time and coming back in, But so it's important that if you're working outside and you're under the sun for a prolonged period of time, it's important to cover your
So it's another way of changing the hair color, apart from not eating well. Okay, now let's get back to some of the myths and, beliefs out there, especially when it comes to hair growth, all right?
Yeah.
There are people who say braiding is a sure way that your hair will grow. Is there any truth that if I braid my hair, it will grow better as opposed to like now yours, the way it's natural, and you let it be?
Actually, for my hair, I can say that I prefer my hair short. So sometimes when it grows, I go in and trim. But I braid my hair maybe twice or thrice a year, and it grows. So the problem is that we think when we braid, we are pulling the hair and what is under the scalp to let it grow. But the most important thing is, as I had said earlier, your ends.
Okay.
All right? So whether you have your hair open or braided, always take care of your hair ends. Because even as you braid, especially when you are undoing your hair, you can still lose what you are trying to protect. All right? So important is, even as you braid, make sure you still moisturize your hair. And when you undo your hair, make sure they are doing it. If you're going to the salon, you're doing it yourself. Take time to really undo it in a professional way. And then moisturize your hair with the conditioner, as we had said, then comb through.
Okay.
But you don't have to braid to keep long hair. You can take care of your hair without braiding it, and it will grow.
Somebody says, I tried letting my hair be without braiding for a while because it was cutting my hairline. And I noticed that as much as it was growing longer, it was thinner. But when I was braiding it, it was fuller. Explain.
So I think that most people don't know how to take care of their hair when it's open, especially when it's in the natural form, like mine. Because there's a way that you really need to take care of it so that you maintain it thick. One is, I keep saying, take care of your ends. and make sure you're always moisturizing your hair. Because if you go in with a comb and you're combing when it's very dry, you're breaking your hair.
Okay.
So you have to make sure that you're always it's a lot of work taking care of it when it's open like this.
Okay.
That's why most people prefer braiding it. Yeah, but it's not because when they were braiding it became thicker. It's just how are you taking care of it when it's open. Yeah.
And this taking care of, you talk about natural hair, chemicalized hair, dreads. Are we still going for the same thing? Ensure that it's moisturized and clean. That's the basics.
Yeah. That's the most, and deep conditioning. Because most people, when people who come here, most people ignore the deep conditioning of hair, and it's very important to deep condition hair. So whether you're going to the salon or you're doing it at home, it's important to at least have in a month to go in with a deep conditioner, and then every other day to moisturize your hair. It's very, very important.
Okay, let's talk about deep conditioning. For those that are doing it at home, and a lot of people, especially because of the pandemic, have opted to do this at home.
Yeah.
What in the house can I use to deep condition? Are we talking about putting my olive oil and mixing those things together to put on my hair to ensure that they go really into the hair? What are you talking about?
No. It's not about the oils. Oils are good for your scalp and moisturizing the hair. But there are products, we have products out here that are really formulated for deep conditioning. The important one that I really talk to people about is the protein. Because most people will go in and or even just going to buy a deep conditioner.
Yeah.
So you have to know that the deep conditioners are two types. There is the moisture boost deep conditioner and the protein deep conditioner.
Okay.
So when you're going out there to buy, and make sure just go and buy. Don't mix things in the house, because as I said, they are formulated in the lab for you. So go and pick the right deep conditioner and make sure that you're getting a moisture boost and a protein boost.
Okay.
For your hair.
There's some people who've been doing this for a while, and they're saying things like aloe vera are natural, tested to have a great moisture. Are you also saying this wouldn't work?
This?
Aloe vera.
Yeah.
Are you saying this wouldn't also work as a deep conditioner at home? Because there are a lot of people doing it themselves nowadays.
Just like I said, don't take something that is natural, go and cut aloe vera and come and put it in a jar and put on your hair. Yeah, go and get that, because those products, there's a product that will have some aloe vera. So at the lab, they've extracted what they need, and it's in the right molecular form to penetrate through the strand to get to do what we want it to do.
Okay.
Yeah. So aloe vera is not bad in its own, but don't go and cut that leaf and mix yourself and put
it in the hair. Okay. Now we see the massage is happening, and clearly he's really concentrating on the same. What is the relation between massaging your scalp and the health of your hair?
To our body, hair is never a priority. Yeah. So the body has a lot of things a lot of areas to supply blood and nutrients. So when you massage and touch the pressure points, then you are stimulating the blood to really deliver the nutrients that we really need for your hair. So it's important. Once a month you'll come here and do it, but at home also it's just important to get in and really massage your scalp to stimulate the blood to deliver the nutrients that we need for your hair.
For the hair.
Yeah.
And speaking of which, actually somebody asked, this is funny, they say, I was told every evening when I'm combing my hair, I should comb it when I am bending over. And actually, when I do this, the blood will get to the hair and I will get the stimulation of my follicles. True or false?
We are always walking upwards and blood is always coming.
Yes.
So it's not about, bending for the blood to come. Whether you're sitting, Just a little massage will really stimulate the blood to come through to you don't have to bend.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And bending will not make your hair grow longer.
All right.
Yeah.
Clearly, there's a lot of myths and misconceptions when it comes to hair growth.
Yeah.
All right. Now, there's another one here, and this has a lot to do with, you will see a lot of Nairobi women, and just women generally, who have lost a lot of hairline. You know, like your hairline is all the way till here.
Yeah.
A lot of it has been attributed to the braiding, to the styling and all that. What would you say about this?
Yeah, and it's very unfortunate. So maybe the salonists are thinking that when we pull the hair so much, then we are pulling for the hair to grow. Yeah, which is very bad. So, and it's, as I said, you can grow your hair when it's open or when you braid it. The important thing is how you take care of your ends. So when you go in for a braid, it doesn't have to be pulled on the hairline. Or we normally just blame the people at the salon. Maybe it's not the people at the salon. It's how you style that hair. Okay. So when you're styling that hair, don't pull it so much behind. Just let it be free and very easy, and so that you're not hurting your hairline.
Okay.
And then how long you keep the style on is also very important. Yeah, because sometimes the lint that covers that area where the hair is growing, especially that's what really cuts most of the hair. Because when you've undone your hair, then you're combing, you're hurting that hairline. So you get your hair breaking a lot.
Okay.
Hurting.
And for that kind of hair loss, is there a remedy for it? Can your hair grow back?
Depends. When we do the examination, we're using the diagnostic machine, we see the extent of damage. But mostly we say, if it has been 6 months since you lost that hair and it has not grown back, so for sure it's not growing back.
Oh.
All right.
Okay.
So there's always a solution. That solution is a transplant, but that is one of the last solutions that I go for. But if you come in and you have been, normally I ask, how long has it been like this?
Okay.
Many people will say it's 2 years since I got my baby, who is now 17 years. Yeah, so that hair is not going to grow back.
Oh, wow.
So we have to look for another solution that we can. There's always a solution. So normally we will borrow some hair from strands of bulbs from here and put them at the front. Yeah.
And you've actually seen success?
Yes, I am a success myself.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I did a transplant in 2017 for my hairline. When I started practicing, I didn't have my hairline. And I knew that a transplant would work. So I was telling my clients, do a transplant. And they would bring it back to me. So you don't believe in what you're telling me to do. So I went and did a transplant, and my hair grew very well. So it works.
Okay, allow me to look, to be honest, because I'm very surprised.
Yeah.
You wouldn't say there was anything off.
Yeah.
Let me see the other side. So this is actually impressive.
Yeah.
This is very impressive. So there you have it. It actually is, when we talk about hair transplant, you talk about taking water, and you're actually taking water yourself.
Yeah.
Okay, so I saw a hot towel come out of our hot towel cabinet and put over the deep conditioned hair.
Yes.
What are we doing?
So it's just important for the deep conditioner to penetrate through the cutex to get to the cortex. And a hot towel, or if you're in the other salons, they will put for you a dryer or a steamer so that the deep conditioner really does that to get into the cortex. So that's what we are doing. And while we are doing that, she is enjoying a very nice massage.
Oh yeah, I have to say, I'm actually envious, Joyce.
Eliud is really trying not to get rid of the makeup, but we have to also make her enjoy her
And
massage.
go all the way to the hairline.
Yeah.
Okay, so how long does this whole process take, give or take?
45 minutes. Yes.
Okay.
As I told you, it's changing the story at the sink to really make sure that you massage through the scalp. It's not just coming in and washing first and letting the client go. Everyone enjoys a massage.
Yes.
And this is the best way to give them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, is there a chance that we can be able to see what is happening in the scalp, or this will take a bit longer, so we shouldn't interrupt her time here? Because we only have, I think, 5 minutes to the end of the broadcast, so I guess we can leave her to enjoy her massage.
Yes.
Okay. So even as we put a close to this conversation, there are a lot of women who have gone the natural way, just like you, all right, saying that that is the best way to actually preserve and grow a healthy mane. Let's start with the naturalistas. What would you advise them in as far as catering for their hair is concerned?
The natural hair has a lot more work than when you're relaxed.
Okay.
All right. So you really need to go in and make sure you shampoo, condition, because we keep the natural hair and we ignore the taking care of it. So use the right shampoo, use the right product, use the right tools. Deep condition your hair, moisturize your hair, take care of your ends. Very important.
Okay. For those who have gone the chemical way, all right, so you have a chemical being put in there, 2 months you have your hair out, then at some point you've got to find a protective hairstyle to just let the growth rest. Your words of advice for that?
Let the hair grow for some time and then go in and do a protective style. And always follow your professional advice on how to take care of it when it's braided.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. We talked about age, and age here is really a factor, and especially the older you get, the more you see the issues of thinning and hair loss and all that. What is so critical for you, especially when it comes to age and hair?
A bit more moisturizing of the hair. Because as we age, even just with our skin, the skin becomes drier. So we have to do a bit more moisturizing than what we used to do when we were younger. And a bit more deep conditioning, to just keep the hair healthy.
Okay, and when you talk about moisturizing, we've been told rose water, spray some rose water on the hair, because you can't wash your hair every day. So what would you advise? Some of these things that you can actually use to moisturize hair.
Rose water is not bad. You can use plain water. You can use some rose water. You can use a leave-in conditioner because your hair loves moisture. All right. But if you put, and that's what we actually naturalistas do, is when you put that water, it's like when you apply water here, it quickly evaporates. But if you put Vaseline on top of that moisture, then you keep it in for a longer time.
You lock it in.
So if you spray rose water and walk out, your hair will quickly dry. But if you put some rose water and then put some moisturizing butter and then use some shea butter to lock in that moisture, you come back home in the evening. Like for me, when I go home in the evening, my hair will still be looking like this because I have really locked in the moisture.
Okay.
Yeah.
So for somebody with chemicalized hair, perhaps now that this will be what? Oils? A little bit of oil?
Normally for people who have relaxed hair, I really just advise them to listen to what the professional is saying, because I'm not really good in advising about the relaxers. I send them to the professionals, and they normally give a very good advice on how to maintain their hair. But normally if you put a relaxer or color, then you have compromised the moisture in your hair, then you really need to do a bit more conditioning for your hair.
Okay, so when it comes to the oils, pomades, the hard stuff, or do you prefer spray on oils? What's easier? What's more absorbed?
Oils are better, but when the skin is, the strands are clean. Because if you put oil on a dirty strand, then it just stays there. If the strand is clean, then the oil will penetrate through and get to the cortex. The pomades will only give you some shine. They will not really help you in moisturizing the strand.
Okay, and when we come to taking care of your hair, adults, children, same idea, or is there more emphasis on the children in some parts?
There are special products for children, because some of the adult products have a bit harsh for their skin. So we use what is meant for children, and what is meant for adults we use for adults.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right then. So it looks like Joyce is coming to an end.
Yes.
To the end of her session, and we thank you for allowing us to actually walk with you and understand better about hair health. And thank you, Christine, for giving us a glimpse into hair health, because I'm sure some people today heard the word trichologist for the first time. And also now understand that there's somebody who actually takes care of your hair beyond your hair manager or your hair stylist. And essentially you're the hair doctor. Right?
The hair doctor.
The hair doctor.
Yes. But we should not be confused with a dermatologist.
Okay.
Because a dermatologist will treat a more serious cases of skin, including the scalp.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right then. Thank you, Christine Kingori, trichologist. And of course, Joyce, thank you for your time, and everyone else here at Bloom Trichology. It has been such an informative segment, even and broadcast, as we learned about hair health. And today, you know that your hair is not only that mane you see up here. It actually has a lot to do with what's happening behind the scenes, which is in the scalp. So what you eat and what you put on it goes a long way to ensure that you preserve and ensure you have a healthy mane. Well, that's it from us. My name is Gladys Gachanja. We've been coming to you live from Bloom Trichology, right? Yes. Tomorrow, my colleague Victor Kiprop will be on that steering wheel, and he'll be talking about how to prepare for that interview. I mean, we are living at a time where some people have lost their jobs, others are starting afresh, and it kind of feels like you don't have the tools to prepare for that job interview. Well, he will have an expert in studio to help us along with this conversation. See you then.